Hello and welcome to another modelling video. This is Alan from the What Kind of Man at YouTube with another 70-second armor build by the renowned Dragon from China, the NR.2 early World War II large German armor. Just a bit of a background on this armor. This is a failed, very unusual tank with multiple machine gun turrets and not very effective. It had a thin armor and many different color schemes for propaganda or artwork or information trading. Was not very effective. Was used in Poland and it just simply broke down and was destroyed to prevent enemy capturing it. A few months ago I came down sick at work with some sort of high fever, and on my way home I went past a hobby shop which is just a 5-minute walk before you hit the train station, and picked up this kit on impulse. I have other Dragon 70-second Japanese tanks, but wanted to have a go at the general brand before I attempt any of those blind, as I would love to do a fantastic job on them. Dragon has the reputation of being one of the best modelling companies that produce kits in 70-second armour, with a very unique sliding mould feature, compacting as much detail as possible onto a kit in as many pieces or little pieces needed as possible. They normally come with photo etch, really nice tan rubber tracks, and heaps of other bells and whistles, keeping the price fairly affordable at around the $20 mark. Due to their accuracy and being a fantastic build nature, and were looking quite wonderful out of the box with as minimal work as possible, you'll find that the more very common or popular lines of tanks such as Sherman Stug 3s, T-34s, Tigers and whatnot sell out, and shops struggle to keep them in stock. If you see a tank that you are a big fan of that's popular, snap them up as soon as you can. The box is covered in a lot of wonderful pictures and detail, little bits of information throughout the place. The instructions are fairly clear and easy to follow, though it can get vague from time to time. On the other hand, the color guides is just absolutely beautiful, spot on. The runners are nicely put out in plastic, well sorted out, and I love this bit of cardboard they have to support and protect the decals and fragile pieces. Without further delay, straight into the builds. The pieces fit together very nicely with minimalised seam lines where possible. Older Dragon kits can be a tad more complex. We'll get to that when we come to one. I find the Tamiya extra thin cement works wonderful in gluing the pieces together, as you don't want to get much glue or putty oozing all over the surface with the detail. The wheels and suspension system were all moulded in one piece and glued together like a dream. I find the side of this particular design tank very fascinating. It was fairly quick to build, and due to its nature of just coming together, I really took my time, but had the whole thing built, sanded and primed within the first 24 hours. The turrets give you a choice of articulation. I glued everything down and chose to glue down the tracks after everything was painted with super glue for that little colour separation and ease in not hand painting around wheels. Another wonderful bit of the colour guide is it tells you the correct colour among multiple brands, as Dragon is not loyal to any one manufacturer of paint. I managed to find the colour scheme I wanted pretty close in my existing stock of paints. It was airbrushed Tamiya lacquer primer, and one by one layers of the paint while on these skewers and the Tamiya turntable. Due to being a prototype tank, very little weathering has been applied, though I'm really digging this very unusual shape, design, 3 turrets, almost very English oriented, and this very alien, unusual colour scheme that you see during the experimental German phases of World War II. Now, this may come across as a glowing review, but 72nd Dragon Armour, or mostly the later tanks from the past few years released, are absolute excellent buys and builds. I hear people raving about them all the time, and I'm glad that I'm collecting the Russian Japanese tanks from that line. Earlier armour, and particularly one that I'm building a self-propelled gun, is a bit trickier and more challenging with slightly vaguer instructions, though the detail is still there and still definitely blows me away. For those that are looking for something that's definitely a little extra or more out of their modelling, a little board of your $10 Airfix tanks, this is a fantastic jump, and it's still not way too absorbently expensive. Size comparison to a Stug 3. All in all, with my effort and the decals applied beautifully, very well done, separates in a few seconds, I'm very satisfied with this build. For some reason didn't seem to be quite popular at the hobby shops. A few places have bought them up, though they're not really moving, though I suppose it isn't too much of a popular subject. Nonetheless, very fun as an experimental first time Dragon build. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time.